We are live. Hi everyone, welcome back to Codera. Today in this video we'll be continuing our series that is mastering binary search of CodeForces. So this is the series that we have, mastering binary search problem on CodeForces, and this is the third lecture of that. In this lecture we'll be discussing one problem of binary search. This problem is named as exams, and this problem I guess is rated as 1700 or 1800 on CodeForces. Previously this question has been asked in CodeForces round 377, which was rated for division 2. So consider giving me a +1 in the chat if my voice is audible to everyone and my screen is also clearly visible, and I'll just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone else to join in, and then we'll start with this session. This is going to be an interesting problem because this is a problem D that will be solving using binary search. This is an optimization problem, so we'll be seeing that how we will be optimizing the problem. I'll be reading the problem, I'll be explaining you the test cases and everything. So till then, just consider giving a quick +1 in the chat and like the video as well, so that we can begin ahead with the today's session, right? Okay, hi Vanshika Kapoor and hi Peaky Blinder. Okay, so with this particular problem, like as you know, I'm a little bit irregular with the binary search series, but don't worry on that. Like we'll be covering all these things soon. Like I will try to stream more regular on this CodeForces mastering series and bring more topics. Like you can comment down below after this stream is over or in this stream as well, like which topics would you like me to take, so that maybe we can take on discuss on those topics and your problem solving skills can improve based on CodeForces problems, right? So shall I start with the problem? Also, if you haven't subscribed our channel, so you can consider subscribing our channel, that is Codera. And on this channel, like today only I did the live streaming for lead code daily challenge for today, that was detect capital. This was a very easy problem. I did it using two approaches, so you can also do it using those approaches if you want to have a look, and the codes are also available in the description. Apart from this, yesterday I did the sequential digits problem, which was asked in Amazon, and I did it using BFS and DFS, both the approaches, so you can try out them as well. Apart from this, like you can see, we are regularly doing the streams for lead code daily challenges, so you can consider to try to solve it. And if you are not getting that, so you have editorials that we are making, so you can have a look at them also. Like I am explaining all the approaches that can be possible for those problems. Apart from this, you know that Kabir is also working, and we also have Ayush Gupta who is working on CodeForces editorials, so you can consider to subscribe our channel to support us. Now consider giving me a +1 in the chat if you all agree that I should start, and also like the video as well, right? How many of you are excited for this question? Let me show you what's the rating of this particular problem. This particular problem is rated as 1700 on CodeForces, right? So in this particular problem, the problem name is exams. It's a problem D of a div 2 contest, and the contest name is CodeForces round 377 division 2, right? So if consider giving a quick +1 in the chat, and shall I start? Okay, I'll start with the problem. So what does the problem say? The problem name is exams, and it says that like this guy has an exam, whoever is the guy has an exam which will continue for n days, right? So the guy is having an exam, the exam will continue for n days. So okay, it will continue for n days, that's perfectly fine. Now he has to pass exams on m subjects, right? So the exam will go on till m days, and he has to continue the exam for m days. What does this mean, that the exam will continue for n days? We'll consider this once we'll move ahead, but basically there are m subjects, right? So the subjects are numbered from 1 to m, and about every day we know exam for which one of the m subjects can be passed on that day, right? So we know that for like about every day we know exam for which one of the subjects of m can be passed. Like you will be given these days, and if there is no exam, then it will be 0. Otherwise it will be given that on which day what exam would be occurring. In the first array it will be given. I'll be explaining you further, right? So someday you might not be having any exam, right? So it's not allowed to pass more than one exam in a day, right? So in one day you can at most give one exam and pass that. So one on each day was this guy can either pass the exam on that day. He or she can either pass the exam on that day, and that will take the complete day, or he or she can prepare for any other exam, right? Or can have a rest. So that depends. So what's given further is about each day, like about each subject. You know that each subject, corresponding to each subject, there is a AI, right? What does that mean? So there is a for every exam, that is for every ith exam, you know that there is AI number of days that you will need to prepare for that particular exam. Let's suppose that there is an exam that is mathematics, so you would be knowing that how many number of days you will be having. If the ith subject is mathematics, you don't, here it is not mentioned mathematics, but I'm saying that if the ith exam is there, so you'll be knowing how many days you need to prepare for it so that you can pass that particular exam, right? So this is also one of the conditions. It's not that you'll just come and sit and you'll just pass the exam, right? There are certain number of days for which you need to study so that you can prepare for that examination, right? So it's not necessary that you continue your preparations continuously, right? So it's not also necessary that you prepare continuously. You can prepare in segments, but you need to prepare, right? You need to give some number of days for the preparation that are required, right? And you can do what, you can mix the preparation of exams in any way. So what you can do is, let's suppose you are one day you are preparing mathematics, other day you are giving some exam, let's say English, other day you might be preparing for geography or something like that. So that does not matter, but it's just necessary that you should be preparing that much number of days, right? So that's more important. Now your task is to find the minimum number of days in which this guy or this girl can pass the examination, right? You have to find the minimum number of days in which this guy or this girl will be passing all the examinations, or you have to determine if it is impossible to pass all the examinations, right? So each exam should be passed exactly one time. So you need to pass each exam exactly one times, and you need to determine what's the minimum number of days in which this guy can pass all the exams. Consider giving a +1 in the chat if at least this basic problem statement is clear to all of you, and then I'll be explaining it to all of you through the test cases as well, right? So what you will be given is, you will be given n. What is the n? N is nothing but the number of days for which the exam would continue, and corresponding to that n, you would be given a array as well. So let's take this, let's write this. Let me copy this part. Okay, I've just copied this test case to explain you what's happening here. So you'll be given n is equal to 7. Let's say if n is equal to 7, so you'll be given the days, right? You'll be given, let's say 0 means that there is no exam, 1 means that there is this exam of type 1, you can say mathematics or something, then 0, then 2, then 1, then 0, and then 2. Let's read a little bit of description about this. Like there are two subjects, right? So there is a subject that is subject 1. For that subject 1 you need 2 days. It's given in the second array, right? It's given 2 and 1. M is equal to 2, and you have been given an array 2 and 1. So what's been given is, for the subject 1, for the subject of type 1 you need 2 days, and for the subject of type 2 you need 1 day, right? That's what given in the test case. Like you have been given these 7 numbers, like these 7 n number of days, and you have been given the number of days you will require for studying for a particular type of exam. So if it's the exam of type 1, that is the first exam, you can say, or like subject code 1, you will take 2 days for it. If it's the subject code 2, so you will take 1 day for it, right? It's also given in the array, like you can see here. Okay, now the thing is that if it is 0, that means that you will not be given any exam. Either you can, if it is a 0, if it's a 0, so what you can do is, either you can rest on that particular day, or you can study, right? That will depend on you. Now you will say that's perfectly fine. Now if there is exam 1, so there are two opportunities to give the exam of code 1. Either you can give the exam of code 1 here, or you can give the exam code 1 here, right? So that will depend on you as well. Okay, now similarly you can give the exam 2 here, or you can give the exam 2 on this day, right? So basically you have to try to wrap up the exams as soon as possible, right? Now let's say that you give the exam, let's say you give let's say you are very much kind of a procrastinating guy or a girl, right? So what you could do is, let's say you have this type 2 exam, how many number of days you need to prepare for this particular exam? So if you see, so you need to prepare for can I say you need to prepare for 1 day for this particular exam? So if you see, can you give this particular exam of type 2 on this particular day? No, you cannot. Why? Because you are not prepared, right? You haven't prepared one day for it at least. So what you will do is, what you can do, you will say that okay, I'll not, either you can prepare for this particular exam or you can prepare for any other exam as well. You can see an exam 1 is also here, so either you can choose to prepare for it, or either you can say no, I'll not prepare for it, right? So let's say you don't do any preparation, right? Let's say you are not doing any preparation on this day. Okay, on this day you don't do any preparation, on this day also you don't do any preparation, on this day also you don't do any preparation. Or let's say if this is one, right? If this is one, so now here what can you do? You can either prepare for two, or you can prepare for one, or you can give exam one, but you cannot give the exam one. Why? What's the reason? The reason is that you are not prepared it yet, right? So what you can do is, you can see that there is exam 2 approaching, so you at least need one day for it to prepare. So you'll prepare, right? Exam with the code 2 will take one day, so on this day you will prepare for it and you will give this exam on the day 2, right? You will give this exam on the day 2. Now the thing is that if you do like it like that, in that case you will just get one more day to prepare and you will not be able to give this exam of type 1. Why? Because you will not be able to prepare for it for 2 days, right? So what you could do instead is, there's another way that you can do it. Like, there can be many possible ways, but I'm trying to think what can happen. Let's say I give it on this particular day, right? If up till now everything is clear, so you can consider giving a +1 in the chat, right? Up till now, are the things clear to everyone? Now let's say what you can do is, let's say you give the exam, like you have the exam of type 2 here, so you cannot give this exam, right? So you prepare for this particular exam, and now the number of days that you need to prepare for the second exam will be 0. So you'll say that okay, you have prepared for this exam. Now whenever this exam will come, you can give it. Now you get this 0, so you can prepare for this exam or you cannot. So what you will say is, let's not prepare for it. Now you get this one, so you will say that okay, let's not prepare for this particular exam as well. So you will say that okay, let's cross this one as well, you will not be preparing for this. Then what you will you will say that should I prepare or not? So you will say that okay, maybe let's prepare for this one. So that's why for one you will need one more day. Okay, now you come to this exam number 2, and what you can see, can I give this exam number 2? Yes, I can give, because I have prepared one day for it. So that's why I'll give the exam, right? I'll give the exam. After that, what will happen? I cannot do anything on that day. Now I have one more day before my exam 1, with code 1 I can give. So that's why I'll prepare for it, because I've already prepared one day for this particular exam. I can prepare for one day more for it. So what will happen with this? I'll give like this is preparation 2, this is preparation 1, this is preparation 1, and then I'll give it, right? This is one of the ways that I can give it, right? So in this way, what will happen basically is, and then on this day I'll rest or something like that. So basically you can see that I'll take n is equal to 7 days for preparing for it. Can I do something better than this? Can I do something better than this, right? Can I do something better than this? Can someone let me know in the chat if I can do something better than this? Also, please write clear in the chat if up till now things are clear to all of you, right? So it is saying in the answer that you can take 5 days. It is saying in the answer that you can take, for this particular test case, you can take the minimum number of days that you will take to prepare is 5 days. Let's check out how. What you could do is, instead of doing it like that, what could you do? It's saying that you can do it in 5 days. How can you do this? Now let's say you are here. Okay, instead of starting from the last day, let's say you are here, right? So what you could do is, for this one, if this is 1, so you know that you cannot give the exam number 1 because you haven't prepared for it, right? You haven't prepared for it. So what you need to do is, you can say that okay, I'll be very serious, I'll not waste any day, since I cannot give the exam, so I'll prepare. So should I prepare for exam number 1 or exam number 2? If I prepare for exam number 1, then I'll prepare for it for one day, but once I come to this 2, so I'll not be able to give this exam number 2, right? So what I'll say is, I'm at this 1, so I'll not give the exam with the code 1. I'll prepare for the exam number 2, and I need one day for it. So I'll prepare for the exam number 2. On this day, I'll give this exam. I'll give this exam number 2 on this day, right? After this, what would happen? After this, I have this situation like this. Okay, I have this situation like this. Can I give an exam on this day? No, I cannot. No, I cannot, right? I cannot. Simply I cannot. What's the reason for that? The reason is there's 0. So that's why I can say I'll prepare 1 for it, right? I'll prepare 1 for it. After that, what can I do? Can I give this particular exam on this day with 1 preparation? Can I do that? Can I do that? No, I cannot, right? So let's see what they are saying. They are saying that on the first day and the second day, you can prepare for the exam number 1. What they are saying is, like, they are saying this thing. Let's consider this order. What I'm saying, let's consider this way. Let's consider from this way. If you are here, right? You are here. Let's say you are starting from the starting. Okay, so you know that you need 2 days for preparing for exam number one with the code 1, and you need 1 day for preparing for exam number 2, right? Earlier I was saying that let's start from the back, maybe some last days or something like that. Maybe we can prepare for it. Some days we might, some days we might not. But if we are here, right, if we are here, so in this case what we could do is, it is taking some time to explain this particular question, but you will get this very much soon, right? So what's happening is, let's say you are here, so you say that okay, I'll prepare for exam number, let's say 1. Here you can let's say you prepare for exam number 2 instead of giving this exam 1, because if you prepare exam number 1 here, so you'll not be able to give it, right? So you can either prepare for 1 or 2, you can prepare any, that depends on you. Then you will say that okay, I'll prepare for exam number 1. After this, what will happen, you will say that here I'll give the exam number 2 because I am prepared. I have prepared 1 day for it. I required 1 day for it, so I've prepared for it, so I'll give it. After this, what will happen, I come to this one. Once I come to this one, what will I say? I'll say that how I prepared for this one. Yes, I have already prepared 2 days for it, right? And I required 2 days, so I'll say that okay, I'll give it. Now if you count the number of days, so this is the first day, this is second day, this is third day, this is fourth day, this is the fifth day, right? So in this case, can you observe that in 5 days the minimum that you can take is 5 days, and within these 5 days you can prepare for all the exams, right? You can prepare for all the exams. Now what do I mean by that? Like you can say that okay, 5 days, the minimum days you are saying is 5, but how can you claim that the minimum number of days is 5 days? Why? Because if let's say I start preparing, let's say I prepare P1 for here, and let's say I prepare P1 for here again, then I prepare P2 for here again, right? Or let's say if you are saying that the thing is that I have to clear all the exams, right? I have to clear both the exams. If I do P1, I have prepared 1 day, but I need 2 days to prepare for the exam 1, so I cannot give this exam. So I'll say okay, let's prepare 1 day more. Now I have this 0, but I do not have any exam on this day, so that's why I cannot do anything with this. What will I do? I'll say that okay, let's prepare for P2, the exam number 2, let's give it 1 day. Now I have this exam, so I'll give it. Now I have this exam 1, I'm prepared, so I'll give it, right? So that's why if there are some gaps or if there are things like that, in that case you'll have to wait. So the minimum number of days that you will take to finish the exams is 5, right? If this much part is clear, please give me a +1 in the chat. Is this much part clear to everybody? Is this much part clear to everyone? Okay. Now let me discuss one of the more test cases, right? Let's say that you have some more test cases like that. Let's say that I have, let's say something like this, 0, then 1, then let's say I have 0, 0, 0, then I have a 2, then I have 0, 0, 0, and I have, let's say 3, then I have 0, 0, 0, and let's say I have 2, like something like this, a random case. I'm taking a random case. Okay, is this much part clear to everybody? I'm taking a random case. So in this particular situation, one thing that I need to observe is that let's say I can prepare for the exam number 1 in 1 day. I can prepare for exam number 2 in, let's say, 2 days. I can prepare for exam number 3 in 1 day. So you can see that total number of days that I would be taking would be 4. So what if I prepare it like this? Like I prepare like 2 days here, and then I can give it. Let's say I prepare like something like that. Let's say what I'm saying is basically what I'm trying to say. Let me bring it on. Right. What I'm trying to say in this particular thing is that if you can give the exam, like if there is a window, like if you finish this exam, right, if you will observe one thing, you can finish all your exams by here, right? You can finish all your exams by here. By this position you can finish all your exams, right? You need 1 day to prepare for the exam number 1, so you can do that. You need 2 days to prepare for exam number 2, so if here 2 is coming, so you'll say that okay, I have a lot of days, I have the exam number with code 2 coming again, so maybe I'll not prepare for it. Then you'll say that okay, I have 1 day, so I'll prepare for 3 here, and then I'll give 3, right? So you'll say that ultimately I'll prepare for 2 as well, and I'll give 2 here. But if I can prepare for the exam here, right, if I can prepare for the, if I can give the exam here, can I do something better than it or not? Yes, I can do something better than that. I, instead of finishing it here, instead of finishing the exam at this particular point of time, how to improve rating 950 trying to reach pupil specialist, basically try to like you can see, we have on this channel, we have mastering CodeForces greedy problems, mastering CodeForces sorting problems, mastering CodeForces game theory problems. You can try to see, I have tried to tell like how do we approach the questions and things like that, so that would help you, right? So what I can say is, instead of giving the exam there, if I give if I prepare till here, I'll be able to finish all the exams. Instead of finishing on this day, which is later, I'll finish on this day, right? Also, one more thing, let's say you finished, let's say you were finishing the exam here. So we know that if you are finishing this exam here, then you can always finish it later, right? You can always finish it later, right? Always finish it later, right? So are you getting something? If you are at a particular, if you can finish the exam here and you want to minimize, now the concept is coming, if you can give the exam here, so you will try to check that whether you can give the exam in the left direction or not, right? You will try to check that whether you can give the exam on the left direction or not, right? Maybe in more minimum number of days. If you can give the exam on all the exams, you can finish all the exams on this particular day, so you will try to see that whether or not you can finish all the exams before it. Now the thing is, if you know that, so will you like to go to towards the right side? No, you will not try to maximize. If you can give your exam, all the exams by this date, so you will not try to, you will basically not try to delay it, right? Because you want to find the minimum number of days. So if you find a particular day, like if you find this day that okay, by this day my exams would be over, so I would try to go towards the left side. To find any minimum number of day, any smaller date by which I can finish my exam. If this much part is clear to everybody, please write clear in the chat. Is this much part clear to everyone? What I'm saying is, forget about all this. Basically what I'm saying is, if you can, like if what I'm saying is, if you can finish the exam, let's say I make an array or something like that. Okay, what I'm saying is, if you have some ranges, right? If you have a range, if you can finish your exam by this day, so if all the exams can be finished by this day, so that means all the exams can also finish by on the right side, by delaying also, by trying to give it, procrastinating and giving it later, you can also give it. But the question says that you have to minimize the last day at which you can give all the exams. So if you can give your exam on this particular day, whatever day it is, by this particular date, by this particular exam, if you can give all the, by this particular date, if you can give all the exams, then what you will try to do, since you want to minimize the number of days in which you will be giving your exams, so you will try, can I say that you will try to go towards the left and find an index such that maybe a better index, such that at that particular index, at a better index, at a lower index, you can try and do it. You can let that is at a lower index, at a smaller index, you can give all the exams. If this much part is clear, please write clear in the chat, right? If this much part is clear, please write clear in the chat. Now can you smell something? If at this particular day, I'm saying, if I'm at this particular day, now if I cannot, now notice one more thing. Let's say if you are at this particular day, okay, if you are at this particular day, and at this particular day, by this particular day, you cannot give all the exams. By this particular day, if you cannot give all the exams, in that case what would happen? By this particular day, if you cannot give all the exams, then you will try to go towards the right side, right? Then you will try to increase the days to check if there is some day at which, by which I can finish my exams, right? If at this particular day, by this particular day you cannot give all the exams, then in that case you will try to go towards the right side. But what if by this particular day you are able to, at this particular day you are able to finish all your exams, then can I say that you will try to move towards the left to check that whether there exists a minimum day or not, a more lower day, such that I can finish all my exams. Is this part clear to everybody? I hope that it is. If this is clear, you can give a like to the video, and also like you can give a +1 in the chat, right? I hope that this part is clear. What I'm saying is that whatever is the array, now I have explained you, right? What I'm saying is, if this, let's suppose these are the days, there are a lot of days, right? There are a lot of windows on which I can give exams, right? What I'm saying is, if at this particular day, if at this particular day I cannot, if at this particular day, right, if at this particular day I cannot give my exam, all the exams, if I cannot finish all the exams, then I'll go towards the right side to find a day at which at least I can give an exam, right? But what if I'm at this particular day and the situation is just opposite? If I'm at this particular day and if I can give the exam, all the exams at this particular day, then can I say that I will try to check towards the left, that whether there exists a day such that I can give the exam on a lower day or not, like the minimum number of days, right? So now can you smell something? Yes, this is nothing but binary search, right? Binary search. The concept is nothing but binary search. What can I say? What can I say about binary search? Now the thing is that now you are able to observe that the concept is nothing but binary search. The thing is that you will be having a range of nothing but low to high. What's here low to high? Low is nothing but, let's say, 1, or you can maybe mark low as 0. That would be much more intuitive to you. Now you can mark your high as, let's say, n minus 1, right? Because you are doing a 0 based indexing, right? We are doing it a 0 based indexing. You can also do it a 1 based indexing. That totally depends on you, right? So you mark your low and high. Now the thing is that, okay, your low is set, your high is also set, right? What are you saying? I'm saying that low is equal to 0. Let's say high is equal to n minus 1. So basically we are taking a 0 based indexing, so the array will be 0 based, so that's why I'm taking it like that. If you want to take a 1 based indexing, in that case you will require to shift the array. Okay, what I will say is, I'll find a particular mid. Okay, I'll find a particular mid. That's pretty much obvious. I'll find a particular mid is equal to nothing but r plus r divided by 2 or something like that. So if I have a mid, that is, if I have a mid, that is what? If I have a mid, that is, I have a particular day. If at that particular day, there would be two situations. Let me write it for you more clear, right? If that particular mid, if by that particular mid, or I can say that by that particular day, there will be two situations. Either I can finish all the exams. If I finish all the exams, then can I say that I'll go towards the left side and I'll check for a minimum day, much smaller day, or something like that, right? I'll check for a much smaller day. But if I do not finish, if I am not able to finish all the exams, in that case can I say that I'll go towards the right to check for a higher day, right? So that's why, what will I do? What will I do with this particular case? Is this much part clear to everyone? I hope that it is, right? So that's the thing in this particular question. Like if a particular mid, if I am able to finish the exams, if I am able to finish the exams by that particular day, so I'll try to check towards its left. So that means what I'll say is that, okay, my current answer is equal to mid. So the minimum number of days, currently I'll say that, okay, I can give it at mid, but I'll try to find in the left side as well. So I'll say that my high is equal to nothing but mid minus 1. Why mid minus 1? Because I'll try to check in the range. If I can give it from low to mid, if I can give it till mid, so that means I can give it, if I can give it till mid, so that means I can give it on any day till low to high, I'll be able to pass it. But I need to make myself better, so that's why I'll say that if I can give it at mid, so let's store mid, but maybe I can give it maybe better, maybe at mid minus 1. So I'll say let's check in this particular range that whether there is a particular suitable day at which I can give my exam or not, right? Is this much part clear to everybody? I hope that it is, right? So that's why what I'll do is I'll say that my I'll mark my high as mid minus 1, so that I can change my search space and I can search towards the left. Similarly, what I would be doing is, now you would say that, okay, that's perfectly fine. So what I'm saying is, if at that particular mid, if I'm able to finish the exam, right, so that thing I'll mark in my answer. So I'll say, okay, my answer is equal to mid, I'll say that okay, maybe this might be the minimum day, but I'll try to check for better as well. So I'll say that let's make my high change from mid to, like, high should be changing and high should change to mid minus 1, right? So I need to check in the left part, right? I need to check in the left part. I need to check for a better minimum day, right? I need to check for more. I'm being greedy a little bit. Else what I'll say is I'll need to increment my low to mid plus 1, because if in the range, if what happens, you have low, you have a mid, you have a high. If till high you are unable to give all the exams, so that means you will not be able to give in any days between low to mid. So that means you need to check in this particular search space, that is you need to change your low to this particular situation, and you need to check in this particular space, because if you cannot give it on mid, so that means you cannot give it on any day left. So that's why you will check on low till high, right? So you'll update your low to mid plus 1. That is what you are doing, right? Now the thing is that the binary search part is, if the binary search part is clear to everyone, please write clear in the chat. Okay, I hope that the binary search concept is clear, right? Binary search concept is clear. Now the only part left with this particular question is how to implement, right? How to implement. Now what I'm saying is you always need to check from the back. That what I'm saying is, as I told you in the initial starting, right? If you are doing this, so as I told you in this initial starting, if you have this particular mid, right, that is a particular day. So if at this particular day, if you are giving, so in these particular days, if you can give the exam, if you can give all the exams in these particular days, such that what will happen, if you give all the m exams, right, all the there are m different subjects, so if you give all the m different exams in this particular thing, such that you have prepared for all the exams and you give all the particular exams, if you have done that, so in that case you will say that okay, this particular day is perfect, and I'll move towards the left in my main function. In my binary search, I'll try to move towards the left, so that is highest would be changing to mid minus 1. Otherwise, if this particular mid is not suitable, if until this day I am unable to give my exam, in that case what would happen, if until this day I'm unable to give my exam, so in that case I'll search towards the right side. Okay, now the thing is that how to write the code for it. So let me go to the screen and let's write the code for it. Like, I'll be explaining you how we'll be writing for it, but basically there is nothing much complicated on this part, right? What I would say is, let's say you have first of all, we'll be deciding whether we have to declare things globally or not. But what I would be doing basically is, first of all, I'll be having let's say int I, and what I would be doing is, like, let me first of all see what they are expecting from us. So we have a D and we have A and we have N and M, right? This is what we have. So what I'll be saying is, I'll have N and M, so maybe I'll declare it global, so that would be better. Int N comma M, right? What I would do is, I will have C in N and M, right? Once I have N and M, so I also need an array, so maybe I can declare that as a you can say global, so that would help me by not passing it. But if you are giving an interview, then you should do pass it, right? So what I'll do is, I is lesser than N, right? For all the n days I'll do I plus plus, and what I'll do is, I'll input the day for it, right? I'll see in the day for it, right? After that, what I would do is, I would take my I to 0, I is lesser than M, and I plus plus, and I'll input how many number of days are required for each exam, right? So I'll input D of I, the number A of I, that is the, for the ith exam, how many number of days do I require to prepare for it, right? After this, when this is done, so I'll say that okay, my low is equal to 0, right? And my low is equal to 0, and my high is equal to nothing but n minus 1, right? My high is equal to n minus 1. Why I'm doing it like this? So I'm doing it like this, not because the thing is, the fact is that I'm taking a zero based indexing, so in the end I'll do an answer plus 1, right? So that's why I'm doing it, because I'm taking a zero based indexing. Then I'll write a while loop while low is lesser equal to high. Okay, I'll also be having an answer. Initially maybe I can say that I'll mark my answer. Let me see what I have to give in case if there is no answer existing. In that case I have to return a minus 1, right? So I'm adding, in the end I'm adding whatever answer I'm getting in this binary search, I'll be adding it to what 1, right? I'll be doing cout answer plus 1. Why? Because like I have to incremented by 1 because I'm taking a 0 based indexing. So that's why I can say that I'll take my answer as -2, so that in the end, if there isn't existing anything, so my answer will never get updated. So that's why it will be -2 plus 1, so that will give me -1 in the end. So that's why I'll just skip this part, right? So in mid is equal to what? Mid is equal to, I can say, low plus high minus low divided by 2. This is what I would be doing with my mid. Now what I would do is I'll check that if it's possible or not. So if it is possible, so I'll make a function maybe named as possible. You can make any of that choice. So if mid, if it is true, then I'll come in this loop, right? So I'll say that okay, my answer is equal to mid, so this will be the number of days in which I'll be able to give it, and I'll say that okay, let's mark my high to nothing but mid -1, right? This is what I would do. Else what I will do is, else I'll say that now I need to change my search space, I need to move towards the right, so that's why I'll do mid +1 in this part, right? Okay, now this much part would be okay. Now the thing is that I also need to declare some arrays, right? Also need to declare, let's say, some vectors, right? Int vector int, let's say I have d, and I have what? I have, let's say, for subjects I can have s, or maybe something like that. Let's say that I have a only, right? I can have a for subjects, as I told you. So what if I have it like this? So maybe I can resize it, right? Up till now, let me look at the comments. Is everything clear up till now to all of you? Is everything clear up till now? Okay, Aryan is saying clear and Shreya is also saying clear. Perfect, right? So this is what I would be doing. Now what I would be doing is I'll say that okay, I need to resize. Okay, I need to resize in the main function. I need to resize. Basically, what do I need to resize? I need to resize all the vectors. So I'll say that once I have taken the input, so I need to resize my day to n. Okay, I'll say d dot resize n, and I'll say d dot not d, basically a dot resize, I'll say m, right? I'll resize them so that I can have them, right? After this, what I'll be doing is I'll be making a function that is bool. What will I do in that particular function? I'll have a bool function in which this is the function name is possible, and in this function what I would be passing is int day, that is the current mid that I'm having. Okay, what I would do in this is I need to find the number of days that I'll study. So I'll say that let's mark my study, let's mark my study as 0. So currently I'll not be studying for any day, and I also need to store like what all exams I have given. So for this I can either use a map, right? Either I can use a map data structure, or I can also use what? I can also use a set. That depends, right? So I need to store like what are the total subjects that I've studied, right? Because I need to check whether I've studied all the m subjects by the end or not. So I'll say set int, and I'll say let's mark it as let's say subject, right? Subject. Okay, after this what I would be doing is I will say that I need to start from the back, because I'm checking, right? I'm checking for it. So if my I is greater equal to 0, right? In this case, like I'll be checking till the end, so whether it's possible to study or not, right? Whether it's possible to study till the end or not. So I'll say that if my d of I, right, if the current day that I am having, if the current day, if the current day, if the on the current day, if it's not equal to 0, so in that case I'm having some exam on it. Okay, and I'll say that okay, it in my set of subjects, in my set of subjects, if I am not having it, so if in the set of subjects, if I say that I do not have this d of I, so if it is equal to 0, if it is equal to 0, that means basically that if set dot count, I will say, or I'll say subjects dot count. Okay, I'll say that if it is not existing in my set, so it would be equal to 0. In that case, what I'll say is I'll say that okay, maybe let's maybe this is a subject that I might be able to give. So I'll say subject dot insert d of I, right? D of I is the subject code. After that, what I'll say is what's the total number of days that I need to study for it. So the total number of days study that I need to study for it, I'll add, because I'll take a cumulative sum for all the subjects that I need to study. So I'll say that for this particular subject I need to study what? How much? I need to study for a of d of I -1, because we are taking a 0 based indexing, right? So like a A is what? D of I is the subject code. Since we are taking a zero based indexing, so I'm doing D of I minus 1. A is the number of days that I want to study for this particular subject. Else what I'll do, subject codes are starting from 1, that is why I'm doing D of I minus 1, right? Once I'm done with this part, up till now is everything clear? Let me look at the comments. Okay, right, perfect. Now what I would do is, now the thing is that what I would do, I will say that if I can study for that particular day, so if that particular day is not 1, so that means it would be 0. So or it might happen that I might have already given the subject exam, so that's why I'll say that okay, if I have studied for that particular exam, so you will say that okay, I'll do study minus minus, and that would be perfect. But in that case I might go negative as well. So since I don't want to go negative, so that's why what I'll do is, I'll say that study is equal to nothing but maximum of, let's say like this, maximum of let's say 0 long comma study minus minus, right? Or minus minus study, you can say. Let's say it as minus minus study, because I need to update it, right? Because I don't want the number of days that I'll need to study to be negative, right? So that's why I'll do it. Now in the end, once I have iterated through this particular loop, so what I would be doing is, if the study is equal to 0, that means if I have studied for all the days, if there is no number of days more that I need to study, so that means I must have studied for all the days. And if my set dot size, let this subjects dot size, that is if the size of my set, if it's equal to m, in that case I'll simply say that let's return a true, right? Else I'll say that let's return a false. Okay, I hope that this much part of the problem is clear to everyone, right? Is this much part clear to everyone? Just let me know in the comments. Let's try and see it for this particular case. Let's see whether it runs or not. Okay, for this particular case, so I haven't declared I. Let me do that as well. Okay, so let me check. So subject was not declared. Let's see now if we are not getting any compilation errors. Hopefully we'll not get. And subjects, okay, again the subject thing is doing a little bit of trouble. Hopefully now we'll be able to resolve it, right? So what I can see is now study minus minus int, and do I need to have a long for it? Maybe I can have a long int for it. Yeah, right. So let's check whether this much code is running or not. I have written it, so obviously it might give some compilation errors. Hopefully now it should. So we are getting 5, right? Let's check it for the second case as well. So I've submitted this for the second case as well. Let's see whether it works or not. So it should work, I guess. So it's giving 9 days like this. For the next it should give -1. Let me see whether it will work or not. It should work, I guess. So it's giving a -1 as well, right? So that's what I wanted. Let me submit this code for all of you and see whether it's working or not. Let's see whether this code gets submitted or not. Hopefully I haven't missed any edge case or any logical mistake in my code. It's a simple binary search. It's just that we needed to see how we have to write this possible function. So for this particular problem, I can see a lot of people have joined us again. So can you give us a +1 in the chat if this question gets accepted? Yeah, since this question is getting accepted, so can you all give us a +1 in the chat? Can you see that this problem got accepted? Let me show you the code part for this particular problem that we just did, right? What I have to do is, you can see that I first of all take the number of all the days, like the schedule of the exam that I will be taking, right? That I will be taking, like I have the schedule of all the exams that I'll be taking, like days, whether it is empty or not, right? I have number of days that I'll be studying for that particular exam. After that I might mark my low as 0 and high as -1. Since I'm taking a 0 based indexing, so since I'm taking input in a 0 based indexing, so that's why in the end I whatever answer I get, I'll have to increment it by 1, because the range actually should be from 1 to n, right? So that's why I need to do that. So since I'll update my answer by 1, so that means means I can update my answer as, initially I can make my answer as -2, so that if in case if I am never able to find any answer, so -2 plus 1 would give me a -1. So that is what I want if there is no possible, right? So I find the mid. If it's possible with the mid number of days, then I'll say okay, this much is possible, and I'll check in the left part. So that's why I'll change my high to mid -1. Otherwise I'll change my low to mid +1. That's what I did. After that, I'll say that okay, I'll mark my long set as 0, and I'll say that okay, my set, I'll have a set in which I'll be storing all the subjects. So I'm starting from the back. Why? Because I want to see whether I'll be able to give all the exams or not, right? So if I haven't given this exam up till now, so I'll and like if there is an exam on this day, there's a subject code exam on this day, and this subject code exam I haven't given up till now, so I'll add the number of days that I need to study for it. Why I'm doing di -1? Because I'm taking a zero based indexing, so that's why the subject code 1 would reflect here 0. So that's why, and I'll insert that particular subject code in the exam, indicating that okay, I have counted the number of days that I wanted to study for it. Now since ultimately the number of days if I have studied for all the exams would be 0, I don't want them to be negative. So that's why if this is else part, so if the day is 0, current day is 0, so that's why I'll study for it. So I'll say okay, I'll do a minus. If I'll not study, so I'll rest. So that's why it's 0. Ultimately I don't want my answer to go lesser than 0, right? So I'll mark my study as 0, and I'll mark this if my study is 0, so that means if there's no more number of days that I need to study, and if I have all the subjects covered, in that case I'll return a true. Otherwise I'll return a false. Now for this particular case, what I would say is, what's the time complexity for this particular binary search approach, right? Now the thing is that you would be asking that what's the time complexity for this particular approach. So since we are using a binary search, right, so that's like initially it might have looked like a greedy problem, but it was basically a binary search problem. So what I would say is that initially I just need my n, right? I am traversing in what range? 1 to n, or you can say 0 to n -1. So that means this binary search, I'm iterating through all the ranges, or the number of ranges that the number of mids that I would be checking. Since I'm using a binary search, would be in this range, the time complexity would be log of n, right? You are aware with this, right? So since we are using a binary search, so the time complexity would be log of n. And now the thing is that what I'm checking, so I'm checking for all the m subjects as well, right? I'm checking for all the m subjects as well. So this would be nothing but m log n, right? I'm checking it for all the m subjects. Like you can see, I'm checking it for all the m subjects. So that's why in the worst case, this is what it would look like. Okay, that's, I hope this problem is clear to everybody. And the space complexity, since we are using a map, so it will be order of n. Also you can say that since you are storing, like you are taking log n time, and you are storing all the subjects, like m subjects are there, so you are storing all of them, so the map will take some time. So that's why the overall time complexity would be there with the question. So this was the question, and it was rated as 1700 on CodeForces. It was a problem D. So you can consider to subscribe the channel if you like the part, and thanks a lot for joining in. We'll update the timestamps and everything in this particular problem. Thanks a lot for joining in, and I'll see you soon in the next live. Okay, is this part clear to everyone? You can subscribe our channel Codera. Like I'll be more regular with the mastering series. Also comment down below like which like I'll just take 1 or 2 minutes more. Comment down below which topics after binary search. Let's say we have four lectures of binary search left. Okay, 4 sessions of binary search would be more there. So let me comment down below like which topics you want me to take mastering CodeForces series on. That would help us a lot, right? You can just comment down below. I'm just waiting for 1 minute more, so that I can know your opinion as well, so that maybe that could help you, like which topics I should take, right? You can just let me know in the comments, like Aman and others who are there. Okay, so